Everybody loves to know of a deal, and there are 8 ways for you to find off-market homes in Beverly Hills. Check this out. Hey, this is Erik Brown, and I'm bringing you again today the best of Los Angeles, where we share the best and brightest that Los Angeles and Beverly Hills has to offer. Now, as always, if you or someone you know may have some interest in this, I'd love for you to hit the like button and hit subscribe and check out all of our other videos. I myself am a transplant. I'm not originally from the Beverly Hills area, and so you get to see from my lens or hear from my mouth or focus as we could with my ears as well to be able to tap in and understand this market from an outsider's point of view, but get the perspective of a real pro. So we're going to be diving right in and talking about those 8 ways that you can find off-market properties. Way number 1 that I love to share is by connecting with builders or contractors in any given city, and Beverly Hills is no different. There are builders that are going to be building homes. Now, if you know good builders, you might be able to get ahead of the game. When they're looking at land and filling out permits, they know years in advance that there's going to be a home that is built in a given location. And if you connect with the right builders and network with them, you may know of homes before they hit the market. Now, that builder oftentimes is building for an end user, but there's many builders that will build on what's called spec or speculation. And that means they're looking to build a home and sell it for profit. Now, if they can find a buyer that is already willing to make the purchase, they get to save themselves potentially marketing fees, real estate fees, holding time and holding costs. There's lots of advantages to a builder. So tap into a builder to be able to find some off-market properties. Way number 2 to tap in is finding what's called wholesalers. Wholesalers are investors that will purchase properties, and I give the quotes, purchase properties on a purchase agreement itself and then assign it to another buyer. So the way that it works is, if I'm a wholesaler, I find a property at 123 Main Street in Beverly Hills in the Hills. And for this particular property, it's worth $5 million. Now, I find because I've got an inside scoop, I can pick it up for $4.8 million. So I sign a purchase agreement for $4.8 million, and I know that the market will bear $5 million. So I might blast it out in my marketing to all of the real estate agents and the audience that I know that's looking in Beverly Hills, and I find a buyer for not just $5 million, but $5.1 million. Now, I assign the purchase agreement to them, and at that point, I've just made a tidy little profit of $300,000 while a buyer gets a property that I knew of that was off market because I locked it up within my assignment purchase agreement. Wholesalers know all across the city because they're scouring as investors to try and tap into this marketplace and try and find properties before they will hit the market. So if you connect with wholesalers, it's another way that you can find properties before they go live to be marketed to the rest of the general public. Way number 3 is something that I'm a huge fan of, and that is just networking. So if you are really well networked in Beverly Hills, think of going to the Rotary or the Chamber of Commerce or hanging out at the same or different places for happy hour, like Wally's or the Honor Bar or the rooftop of the Waldorf Astoria. All these places are great options for you to be able to tackle and tap into an audience that may just through word of mouth, being part of the neighborhood association, being part of bike clubs, going to the Will Rogers Park or the local dog park. Any of these are options for you to talk to neighbors and just kind of keep your ear to the ground and find out what's happening in a marketplace. You might find out that someone's neighbor down the street is thinking about selling, and that could be the perfect home for you. So networking is option number 3 that I find is a great way to find off-market homes. Item number 4 is pretty rare in Beverly Hills, but occasionally it does happen, and that is auctions. Sometimes auction houses or auctioneers will come across a property that might be an estate, or it might be someone that has recently passed away and it's going to probate. It's a way for you to be able to connect through auctioneers that are planning on auctioning a property. Now, the tough part is you're going to know about it, but they're still going to the auction the property to try and get the highest bid. At no point will an auctioneer give you a deal. It just so happens that you'll know about it. Maybe we will be able to do some due diligence on that property prior to having to compete with everyone else. It might be a leg up that you have information, but you probably still have to compete. Now, through our 4 options, this is a great spot for me to stop and say, if you know of anyone else that you think may find this information valuable, they're looking at buying in Beverly Hills, they're thinking about selling in Beverly Hills and are looking for some alternatives or some ways that they'd be able to sell and really maximize their return, share this video with them. Pass along some of our other videos that they could find valuable. All things Beverly Hills, we'd love to be able to share, particularly when it revolves around buying, selling, or investing in real estate. So let's just keep going and move on to our next point to try and find off-market properties. One of the beautiful things that the MLS has allowed us as real estate professionals to be able to do now is this idea called coming soons. And a seller might be interested in listing a property or advertising a property as a coming soon or a pocket listing because the clock doesn't start to tick. They don't see market time uptick when they're listed a property. As soon as a seller puts their home on the MLS, the clock is ticking, and generally not a friend to sellers. So they might just dip their toes in the water and do some social media ads, or they might post it and have a real estate agent do an email blast across their audience or share it with other agents that they know that focus on working in a neighborhood. So it could be the Flats, it could be south of Wilshire, it could be in the hills, it could be along Roscommare, it could be south of Mulholland. There's so many different areas that could be tapped into that are used as coming soons. Real estate agents have learned to use that tool really effectively, and sellers seem to really like it. Now, as a buyer, if you're looking for coming soon properties in the way that they're advertised, it means it hasn't hit the open market yet, but it is being advertised. So if you find a way to be able to connect with the folks that have tapped into utilizing coming soons, it's a great way for you to be able to see other properties that haven't quite hit yet. Number 6 is public record. You can find off-market properties by just going through public record. Now, and what an example could be is it is public record if someone has missed mortgage payments if they have a mortgage. That's called a lis pendens. It's a term that is used forgive me, I think it is Latin. That is a term that is used to be able to describe someone that is late on payments. And so that's public knowledge. And banks have to publicly disclose if they're going to go through the foreclosure process. That is one example of the way that homes become publicly notified to everybody else that homes might be coming available to sale. Now, there's a way that you have to be able to connect with people. You might have to send mail or try and find them, do a little private investigating work, if you will, to find folks to see if they are considering selling at some point. But public record is another great example to be able to find homes that might be coming for sale. Number 7 is one that agents use often, and that is called direct mail. So if you just mail away to a given neighborhood, now Beverly Hills is about 5,300 single-family homes. That does not include rentals, it does not include condos. So you never know which home is going to sell. In a normal market, particularly in Southern California, somebody moves every 17 years. So if you're looking at 5,000 homes, you're looking at, give or take, 250 to 350 sales in a given year in greater Beverly Hills. And you don't know which ones they're going to be without using some of the other methods that we've talked about. And if you want to just kind of mail for dollars, if you will, or if you're looking at a specific neighborhood, you could have a mail campaign that's created. Oftentimes, real estate agents can also do this for you to save you the time and the money of having to do that grassroots marketing. And they will mail to an area and say, I've got a buyer. And there's a very articulate way for agents that are kind of savvy marketers that they can tap into the best method to find the homes that are a match for what you want. You might not be looking for a 2-bedroom starter home. You might be looking for a home that is more palatial and in a gated community, like Beverly Crest is an example. And if you are, you're going to want to make sure that you're utilizing an agent that knows how to tap into that market. Last but not least is what I call driving for dollars. And this is a option that you can use to be able to just drive around neighborhoods and see if someone is starting to do work on their home, or if they have, it looks as if there's a moving truck that's there. There's a couple of different indicators that you might be able to see. If a home has tall grass and it looks as if it's a bit disheveled, it hasn't been taken care of in a while. These are all indicators of potential opportunities. And so you just drive around and then again, try and find information. Now, a little tip, Door knocking in Beverly Hills is illegal. You can't just walk up to someone's home, knock on their door, and try and get them to sell something, or try and sell something to them. So there's a way to be able to tap into this a little bit more effectively. But my last option I love to share is what I call driving for dollars. Now, I'm also going to give you one more bonus, and that's my personal favorite, and I'm of course biased, but that is use a real estate agent. All of the things that I just described, they can do for you. And the best part is as a buyer, it's oftentimes free to you. What I mean by that is commission dollars are often paid for by the seller. A commission is created. It's settled between the two agents, both seller representation and buyer representation, if both are utilized. And so I'd love for you to be able to take advantage of a really cost-effective but professional resource in a real estate agent. And of course, our team would love to be able to help all of those ideas and concepts that I just described to use off-market properties for the past 20 years we have been doing. So I'd be thrilled to be able to assist you to find them. Now, that are 8 tips and our bonus are all the ideas I wanted to share with you to find off-market properties in Beverly Hills and greater Los Angeles. Now, as always, my team and I are thrilled to be able to assist you if you're ever looking at buying, selling, or investing in the American dream of home ownership, particularly here, also in Beverly Hills. So feel free to connect with us in phone, in email, or visit our website, and know that we are here to help. We're, like I mentioned before, we're talking to dozens of people per day that have questions, and we're here to be a resource. So let me leave you with this question. If you found this information to be helpful, why not go ahead and hit that like button or the subscribe button and get all of our updated videos. You'll get notifications of when the new one pops, and if you're thinking about anything when it revolves around buying or selling in Beverly Hills, then this is the place to be. Remember, with us, you are one click away from your dream home goals. There's no pressure, there's no sales. We're just here to be helpful. Looking forward to connecting soon, and thanks for tuning in.